Hey folks, Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO. You caught me this morning. I'm out in the backyard. We're having a blast. Kids are running back and forth, and I'm eating my hemp cereal. You got, look at this. Looks like marijuana, doesn't it? Organic, 100% natural, nature's path cereal. Excellent source of omega-3. It's got fiber in it, low in sodium. You may be saying, what the Sam Hill's he getting at this time? Well, here's the deal. There's this new company that's going nuts out here. I mean, any company can go nuts when you have free signups. So let's be realistic. You know, they launch, they have free signups, 40, 50,000 people join, and they just got back from the 420 festival up in Colorado. They launched their company. Well, I was over at the Association of Network Marketing Professionals a couple weeks ago, and I was listening to everybody's talk about the marijuana MLM company, and I'm shaking my head saying, what the Sam Hill? So I'm listening to him, and it's Kannaway, and I'm thinking, dude, this isn't marijuana. Well, then I'm listening to the conversations. I'm listening to the guys that are for it and the guys that are against it, and none of them have it right. And I started to realize, you know what, we need some education. Now, I shot a video this weekend for their launch event, and one of the things I said in that video was, you guys, we got to educate the world on what it is you're doing, because right now people are so daggum confused. They think you're selling, you know, marijuana with a comp plan. Now, talk about being out of regulations. That would be it. You know, so that doesn't work. But listen to this here, because a lot of people don't realize. If you take the cannabis plant, there we go, the leaves right there. There's three basic strands, or strains, is that how you say that? Of the plant. You've got the main plant, if you will, high in TC or THCs, which is what the marijuana is. That's what you get high off of if you're toking a Mary Jane and all that crap. That's not what Kannaway's selling. Your second strain of this plant is high in CBD, which is a, I don't know, 80% of the seeds is just oil. So it's a CBD oil, and it's got some high medicinal properties in it that can be utilized. Now, the third strain comes from like Russia. Here, she wants another little bite. Comes from Russia. Oh, honey, watch out your shoe. Get over here. You're all wet and stuff. You been playing in the lake? Mm-hmm. All right, well, be careful. The third strain comes from Russia. It's like a weed. Now, from everything that I've studied, all three of these will have traces of THC in them, but the plant that I'm talking about, the second strain, which is where you get the CBD, it's like less than 1%, and by the time they're all done, it's even less than that, so it's a smidgen. Now, you may be saying, Troy, but what is the big deal? Why all of a sudden, 2014, is somebody coming out with this? Well, it's because for 75 years, industrial hemp, growing this stuff, has been illegal in the United States, and that's really weird. And before we get into that, I want to take it back a little further. If you go back to the 17th century, back when we were forming our country, there were actually a law that said you had to grow this. If you were in Virginia, Massachusetts, Connecticut, any of that, you had to grow that because there were so many different properties that came from that. You could have food, as we just saw. You could grow rope. Sails for ships were made from it. Shoes were made from it. Ropes that they used for cattle was made from it. It had so many different just uses. But somewhere, I don't know when it was, 1937, they wanted to outlaw this stuff. Now, the interesting thing was, by like I guess it was before the Civil War, so it would have been 1850s to 1860s, when they actually did the census. It was documented there was 8,400 hemp plantations of at least 2,000 acres that was in cultivation, and that included some Chinese hemp and some Samaria hemp and Japanese hemp that they'd brought into the United States. Think about that. 8,400 plantations, 2,000 acres apiece. That's bigger than the cotton fields, if you will. I mean, it's amazing for me. It says here, for years, hemp farmers used a handbrake operating machine for harvesting. It's amazing what you can see. Now, here's some of the stuff, and I think this may have been part of the problem, or part of the propaganda, if you will. It says here in 1896 that Rudolf Diesel had produced his famous diesel engine, like many, and they were using hemp fuel in that. Well, then all of a sudden, what do we find? All of a sudden, we pop petroleum out of the ground. All of a sudden, cotton, all this stuff, and before you know it, in 1937, right when we were really starting to see massive amounts of vehicles on the road and the production, the petroleum industry going big, all of a sudden the government outlawed industrial hemp. Now, we already know illegal hemp was already done. We're going to put up some propaganda videos that we've pulled down from the old government. It's hilarious because in 37, you outlawed it and you had them saying this is why it's bad. In 1942, when we were going to war with Germany, they were actually putting out new propaganda saying grow hemp, support the war. Craziest thing. I mean, we see that crap today already, don't we? It's amazing. But here, let's look at some of the stuff. This is some of the stuff that you'll get. You get fibers. That's good. Food. We just showed that because I'm sitting here eating my hemp food. I like it. Here's some other stuff you can get out of it. Building materials. It's used in building materials. Concrete-like blocks they can use hemp with. Plastic composites. Paper. It's amazing. They say the market share for hemp could grow into the billions and billions and billions of dollars. And you say, Troy, is it that important? It is important. Because if you're going to have a company that's in network marketing, marketing products, and right now they have a vapor deal. It's like what you see with these electronic cigarettes, except in this case you put CBD oils infused in there. I think it's with honey and some other, there's all kinds of flavors that they do. Now, there's a little bit of controversy with that too, and I'm going to tell you, I got a little bit of issue with that. I remember when the candy cigarettes came out and people said, oh my gosh, kids are eating candy cigarettes or the candy gum. Oh, you know, it looks, you know, and back then it was cool. Everybody, kids hanging around, they wanted to look like mom and dad. Society kind of shifted a little bit, didn't it? Now you can't go buy candy cigarettes or gum that's wrapped like a cigarette. Okay. Well, guess what? When you go to Colorado, you've got these really cool looking cigarettes. They're like the nicotine cigarettes, the electronic ones, except you can put THC little vials in there and you can smoke that stuff and get high. Well, the CBD oils are like that. Now, so it's, to me, it's a little controversial, but here's the deal. If I've got somebody addicted to nicotine and they can instead go to a CBD oil and they can get off of that because CBD is not addictive, then it can be a win-win. Now, the other product that Kannaway's brought out is actually a salve, takes your muscle, it helps to release pain because CBD oil is known for helping to release pain in the body. Now, it's also good for skin care. So here before too long, they've got a pure skincare line that they're going to be putting out. And that's all cool stuff. You know, when I finally realized that this was a true legitimate company, had a real product, had real compensation plan, it was exciting. Now, there's a lot of buzz. Yes, that was a pun. Okay, around this company because they've had like 55,000 people that have joined the company. Heck, I had guys that had retired. I had an old surfer buddy of mine in Hawaii that had retired. He said, Troy, I'm coming back in to build this company. First company that I've wanted to build. He's an old hippie. You know, and that's going to happen. There's crazy people out there like that. But out of those 40 or 50,000 that joined, I guarantee you not all of them are going to upgrade. Not all of them are going to buy products. Not all of them are going to do that. But there's a lot of hype around this. There's a lot of misinterpretation, misconceptions, if you will. And that's why I wanted to put this video out. I called Jeff Rogers on the phone about 2 months ago and said, Jeff, you know, there's a lot of crap going on right now. Your company, it looks like it can be a category creator. It looks like that definitely in what I've studied with the hemp products that you guys are onto something, but people are calling you the legal marijuana company. There's people that are friends that are getting it wrong and your foes are getting it wrong. So we've got to get some info out there. And he said, will you come to work and help us? And I said, yeah, I'll come up there and work with you guys on this because it's all about compliance at the end of the day. It's all about getting the right information because here's what regulators look at. When the information that's going out is wrong, they start looking to see what's the problem. And I tell you what, this is controversial. Matter of fact, we're going to cover some of the controversy just around Kannaway in a couple of videos from now, looking at the parent company that owns them, some of the people that have been around that company, that the critics, not critics inside of network marketing, critics in the marijuana space are trying to make it look like Kannaway's trying to change the laws and outlaw marijuana. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But when you've got this kind of misinformation that's out there, and it affects a complete industry, if you will, then we want to stay on top of that. I'm not here to debate the marijuana issue. I'm going to tell you right now, that is not what this is about. We're here to look at the facts around cannabis, around hemp, and around Kannaway as a company. And I tell you what, I'm glad to be working with these guys now in a consulting a role to try to make sure that all of the information that's out there is accurate information. Matter of fact, I've been talking with some of the critics about this because I went ahead and said, look, have we got anything that you guys are looking at that could be an issue? Because I trust these guys. I know a lot of people that are out there that they badmouth MLM, if you will. People think that that's all they care about is bad-mouthing, and they don't. What they want to do is make sure that the people that get involved with these companies aren't going to get screwed. That's what they care about. So I've got one of them we've become pretty good associates, and he said, Troy, I've already started a thread over here on my website, and you can kind of see what's going on. And you don't want to know one of the concerns that he brought up to me? He said, Troy, I'm seeing that the company is telling them what to say and how to say it, but I'm seeing in their private groups they're talking about health claims and cancer and all that. Folks, let me tell you something. If the critics are looking at that, I guarantee a regulator's going to find it. So don't do that. If you really love your company, Kannaway, then market the products correctly, go out there and do what you're told, obey the policies and procedures, and you won't get the company or yourself in trouble. Now, if we find out this company's doing anything that's shady, I guarantee you we're going to cover that too. But right now, we just want to make sure that you understand what hemp is and the history of hemp, and why in 2014, with the signing of the Farm Bill, that it was finally, the outlaw was raised. Industrial hemp can now be grown in all 50 states. That's the cool part right there. Check out the blog post. Check out this editorial for all the information and all the links on hemp and cannabis. That's what we want you to do. Live life like it's an epic adventure. Stay dangerous, stay strong, and if you're in network marketing, act like it.